What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga career mode. This is episode number 11. We start today's stuff as we enter May, the final month of football at club level this season. We'll look at our scouting update, our final one of the year, and also an academy update as well. You know, from the academy, I gotta be honest, it's not been terrible. We've got one really good player in Schaefer. Of course, as we know, it's probably going to be the new Philippe Lahm, or so we hope, now playing as a starting holding mid in this team. Obviously, Myers come out in the academy, scored against Bayern Munich in the last episode, shows great potential. And there are a couple of decent players in the academy. Ludwig's got the highest potential. I think Moritin, the young goalkeeper, 15 years old, 62 rated. He could give Ortega a run for his money in the future. I just can't wait till he turns 16 now. I can promote him and have him as our backup goalkeeper possibly for next season. But it's not been great, has it? I mean, I was really hoping in our first season we spent so much money, and the bulk of our money, lest we forget, well, not the bulk, but you know, a significant percentage of our money on a top-class youth scout for this season. I just haven't really had the results thus far. Again, you look at the players in the academy there, you know, a few could still be really good. Ludwig does have the highest potential, but a low overall at 55 rated. And again, Schaefer, who wins the tackle here for our first game of today's episode away against VfL Bochum, he is the exciting prospect and the standout so far. I don't know whether it's just me, maybe my expectations are just really, really high. I don't know why, I just feel as though in previous FIFAs, my youth players just seem to be a little bit higher quality. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I don't give as many chances these days. I don't know what it is, to be fair, but even so, you just never know. The future of those guys could still be pretty bright. Still, yeah, first game of today's episode, Bochum away from home, and we will take the lead now after what had been a horrendous run of form was ended in the last episode of our last game being the 1-0 win over Hertha Berlin. I was buzzing with that. Well, I tell you what, this was crazy, man. Like London buses, we wait so long for, and then two come along at once. Yeah, we'd had one win in 8 games, and then we have back-to-back wins and back-to-back clean sheets as well. Vim with the only goal of the game and a 1-0 victory there. It was just crazy. Like, seriously, I've been waiting so long to get a win, and then two come along at once. But annoyingly, it comes at a time of the season where they count for very little. Yes, as we know, we'd had no chance qualifying for Europe now after our really poor run of form. But I did want to guarantee a top 10 finish. And as you can see, after the win there, on a pretty anticlimactic final day, I should say, we'd guaranteed it. We were currently 5 points clear from Augsburg in 11th, and we guaranteed the very lowest we could finish was 10th. So yeah, you know, I've got to be honest, like back-to-back wins there, back-to-back clean sheets. I wanted a strong finish to the season, and hopefully we'll get it with our final game being at home to RB Leipzig. It has been a tough season, and I talked about it at length in the last episode. I can't really complain because this is what I wanted at the end of the day. This is what I was looking for, you know. I talked about it at length, you know. I said in the first season with Bielefeld, I was hoping at the very, very best we could maybe sneak into the top 10. That is now a guarantee. I never really believed we had much of a chance of Europe, though of course that great run of form did give us the slight possible opportunity to do so. But again, this is kind of what I wanted. It's been a tough season, a really tough second half of the campaign. Big injuries to some big players like Finn Ole Becker, who scores this absolute thunderbolt just past the hour mark. And of course, Kruger going down for the remainder of the season as well. But I didn't want to qualify for the Champions League in Season 1. I didn't want to do a new career mode where in the very first season we just dominate and do so well. I wanted a really tough challenge, and this has been exactly that with Bielefeld in our first year. But yeah, our final game against Leipzig, we fell behind but would restore the leveler through Finn Ole Becker. Yeah, this is a contender for goal this season. Absolutely brilliant strike there, but the former St. Pauli midfielder. We find the equaliser back on level terms. I really wanted to end the season at home with 3 straight wins here, 2 at the Stuttgart Arena, 3 big victories, or at least 3 games without a loss. But Leipzig in this game, they were really flexing their muscles, showing their pedigree. And St. Maximilian, former Magpie, finds Haidara, drills it into the bottom corner, and with 8 minutes to go, Leipzig appear to have won it on the final day. So yeah, again, the result really wasn't going to mean too much, but I really did like the idea of, after a horrific run of form of 1 win in 9, having no defeats in our last 3. That's a strong finish. That's a really strong finish for a side who, before this, were playing really poorly. So direct from kickoff, game wasn't done, and you know nowadays in FIFA late goals are so common. Continue to push, press, and look for that late leveler, and we got it practically straight from kickoff. Robin Hack, I tell you, I really like this kid, and I really like our attacking midfield front three. I've talked about it before. Okugao has been my player of the season. Vim has been great on the right, and Hack's got 9 goals in 33 games. That's averaging just under 1 in every 3. He's been a really great young player this season, and his growth has been exceptional. He's up to 77 overall. He's grown, I believe, 6 ratings in 1 season. He's been great. But what did I just mention there about late goals? Well, I thought I'd found the equaliser and the point I was looking for on the final day. No losses in 3. Practically straight from kickoff, Leipzig give us a taste of their own medicine. Dusan Vlahovic, we know how talented this young man is. Now turning out for Leipzig in this save. Finds the winner with a minute of normal time to go. And look at that, man. 3 goals in the final 8 minutes of the game. Late goals in FIFA nowadays are just ridiculous. Still, Dusan with the goal to win it late on. Leipzig get the win. And unfortunately, on the final day, we do taste defeat at the Schuko Arena. So, yeah, really poor run to end the season. 3 wins in 11 in total, I believe. Not exactly what we were hoping for. Having said that, we did end up finishing in 8th place despite the loss on the final day. Bayern champions, no surprises there. Leipzig jumping to 2nd with Leverkusen and Dortmund going to the CL. Wolfsburg get the Europa League and Mönchengladbach, who occupied 6th for basically the whole season, do finish in that Europa Conference League spot. We were 8 points behind in 8th, and I've got to say, for me, that's a decent season. The biggest concern, of course, was the goals conceded. 48 in 34 games. That's the 2nd worst defensive record in the top 10. And I talked about this season, and one of the reasons I chose Bielefeld for this career mode is because I wanted to challenge myself and be a better defender with this team. Well, unfortunately, 48 goals in 34 games, it's not terrible. But it's not good either, let's be honest. So, yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but for next season, I definitely do want to improve my defense. If we are to have a chance of qualifying for a European place, I'll need to improve my defense heading into the new year. And you think about the amount of points we threw away in late game situations this season, and there were a lot of them as well. How we tightened up and seen games out, we possibly could have snuck into 6th. Maybe that's something to think about for next season. Anyway, as you can see, Schalke won the 2nd league. They're up with Werder Bremen. And also Hamburg, one of my former career mode teams, who won the relegation playoff against Hoffenheim. So Hoffenheim are down to the 2nd Liga, and alongside Fürth and Hertha Berlin. Hamburg are coming up, though, to the Bundesliga for next season. So that would be really, really cool. I remember that career mode very well a few years ago. And I'll show you here the Europa League, Europa Conference League, and Champions League winners. How about this? Manchester United winning a Manchester derby in the Champions League final on penalties. And all 3 teams of the teams that won the European competition this year, English teams. Very interesting indeed. An English trio of European trophy winners this season. Still, as we do end the season there, and as I show you our final academy update here as we change position of Schwartz to a left winger. We had another bid for Lasme, but as you'll see towards the end of today's episode, I rejected this bid from Royal Antwerp, but straight afterwards Freiburg did meet the release clause. So this is why I always say this, like, if you've got a player who has requested a transfer, and whenever a player submits a transfer request, you can't negotiate a new contract. If he's got a few years left in his deal, don't panic sell, because even if he's not playing many games, if he's young enough and he has some potential, he'll continue to improve. You can still play him. Just because he's on the transfer doesn't mean you can't play him. His value will continue to increase, and then you can sell him for a much bigger fee later on down the line. So with Lasme, we could have panic sold him for like £3 million or just under that, but instead I thought, no, he's got 3 years left on his deal, might as well just wait. Someone will meet the release clause eventually, and Freiburg have. So for 4.6 mil, Brian's going to be staying in the Bundesliga, but he's heading to Freiburg for the new season. So as you do end the season here, and we take a look at our final squad with Arminia Bielefeld, the growth of this season was definitely the bright spot. It was a tough season on the pitch, no doubt about it, but you think of the young players this team has, and there's so many of them as well. There were some young talents when we came in, like Wimmer and Kruger and Piper, and then you think about the players we signed. Felix Aguil up 5 ratings. Joshua Wagnerman was one of our most underrated players this season. Konstantin Schäfer out of the academy up 3 ratings to 66 overall. He had a really good start to his pro career. Finn Ole Becker had a 2-month injury during the season, but still grew 2 ratings. Had he not had that injury, could have got another rating or 2 added as well. Kuzayev, by the way, we're all briefly on this guy. I talked about him before. Don't even know why he's here. He was just in the squad when I started to say, but I'm going to let him go on a free transfer. It's only fair. But my player of the season this year, not a young talent, but still quite a young man, just 26 years old, Okugawa. 12 goals and 10 assists in 32 games, up 2 ratings, 75 overall as well. He was my player of the season this year. Absolutely brilliant. Wimmer did really well too, 9 goals and 5 assists. But Robin Hack, look at the growth on this guy, up 6 ratings to 77 overall. 9 goals and 8 assists in 33. There's no doubt about it. Changing his position to left wing was a great decision. And as for Kruger, gutted that injury ended half this season, but even so, 23 years old, unfortunately lost his growth due to the big injury, but 7 and 18, if we can keep him fit next season, I'm sure he'll still be our main out-and-out striker and our best source of goals. But that's it for our first season with Bielefeld. We survived comfortably in the end. Was the minimum expectation of this season. We might have failed our cup objective, but finishing in the top 10 wasn't great, wasn't perfect, but it's a long RTG, and this is what I was looking for. Plenty more seasons to come, and I cannot wait for our second year at the Schuko Arena. So that will end today's episode of the Bundesliga career mode, guys. Big fan for which you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode in the season, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode. The brand new season beginning in the very next episode very soon.